Recording in progress.
At the dawning of the Renaissance in Florence, there was a thought, and it was that of the Prisca Theologia, the ancient theology. Here I offer this thought to you to see what you make of it. In the beginning, says the Torah, the first book of Moses, God created the heavens and the earth. This Genesis 1:1 is an important point from which any who have known the truth start. And the sages of old, the philosophers of old, the theologians of old, I mean deep antiquity, I mean Zoroaster, Zarathustra, the founder of the Zoroastrian religion, the Persian religion, Pythagoras, Hermes Trismegistus, that mysterious figure who may have been part God, the scribe god, the wisdom god, the god of writing. Hermes, the thrice great one, was he an ancient Egyptian priest? Did Moses know him during his time in Egypt? Regardless, pristine theologia, ancient theology. The thought is this: any human being, take out time, take out space, take space, take time, take the 14 billion years stretching from the Big Bang, if you like. Take that manifold of what Einstein would now call space-time. Take that, step outside of it, and say any mind from within that can come to the truth, come to its source. The nous eron is a Neoplatonic notion. It means the love of the mind for its source, for its God, for its good. What is the good of the mind? What is the mind directed towards? What is it oriented towards? It's oriented towards truth, towards goodness, towards beauty, towards transcendendalia, towards its perfection. Mind, and it's eron because it's the eros, the love of mind, which is returning to the one. Anyway, look, the point is that you have this category of sages, ancient masters, learned ones, wise ones of old, and these are the Prisca Theologia, they hold the primordial wisdom, and they're varied. And Orpheus may have been one, and there are many different supposed names in this sort of sacred, who've connected to the ancient tree, the sacred tree of knowledge and wisdom and truth and life. So this Renaissance idea, what's it all about? The Prisca Theologia. In the beginning, God created heaven and earth. Heaven, earth, very basic distinction. Okay, this is the basic of all metaphysics, all scholastic metaphysics anyway, but a body, let's say body, mass occupying space-time, like my watch has weight, it has hardness, softness, shape. Earth, the material cause of my watch, whatever materials constitute it, is its material cause. It has a formal cause in the sense that it is shaped to tell the time. It has a kind of logos to it, and that's what makes it the watch too, but so does its stuff. So it's a heaven, earth, unity is what my watch is. And this is Aristotelian philosophy. All things have their heavenly component, all things earthly. Your body, for example, is of the earth. This is what Genesis says, that from dust we are, and to dust we shall return. We are gathered from dust and scatter into dust. Our bodies, that is, our bodies are gathered from the dust, scattered into dust. You are reminded of this on Ash Wednesday. Anyway, so that's the earthly component of the human being, the body, the dimensions, how big you are, how small you are, the shapes, the form of your body. And then there is mind. There is nous, or there's psyche, there's life, there's anima, but there's anima moving the body, and the passions of anima, of desire, of life. And then in the heart of anima, of psyche, at the heart of psyche is nous. So psyche, the soul, is one level, and then mind is the core of the soul, and then mind is oriented to the one. Look, heaven. Okay, what is meant by that? Well, firstly, breath. Literally, your breath is spirit. Straightforwardly, your breath is spirit. So spirit sustains your life. Spirit is life, you could say, as a human being. Those words could mean the same thing. And who lives in heaven, who is the sky, literally the sky. Saying literally the sky, I mean like look at the sky, look at how vast the heavens are. Heaven just means sky. So you breathe that in and it's life. Like you breathe in the heavens, it's life. Anyway, so these breaths though, don't we notice that even breath has I could just be going, I'm breathing in that form, or I could be speaking to you. And speaking to you is at a certain level of analysis, inspiration and expiration. But it's not just that though, is it? Because it's patterned breath, patterned spirit. So what is patterned spirit? Patterned spirit is word. Word is born. Word is born in the Logos. Jesus is word is born. Jesus is the Logos, which is the reason or the mind, the shaping intelligence of the Lord. Born in a nativity icon, in a trough where animals feed, in the humblest of places. Humble is related to humus, I think, means like of the earth. Humble means of the earth, bringing it down to earth. In the beginning, God created the heavens and earth. Origen, the first systematic theologian of the Christian tradition, the Alexandrian, who would have known the library there and known the Egyptian traditions that flowed into the city, and been in contact with the Greek tradition through the Alexandrian influence and establishment of Alexandria. Origen built his entire metaphysics on Genesis 1:1. It is the point from which all things are understood. This is the Pythagorean point too, that 1 is a very important number. This 1 means this unity, and all monotheisms affirm this oneness. So Pythagoreanism, Pythagoras being considered one of these ancient masters, knew that 1 is a point from which a line is derived, 2 from which a plane is derived, 3 and from which volume or body or mass is derived. So matter is like an extension of that point from a Pythagorean perspective. The point scatters, differentiates. Matter is an extension, an embodiment, an earthing of that point, but the point remains stable, remains pristine, remains 1, and remains omnipotent, because powerful through all these regions by its primacy, by its standing as the 1, as the prime beginning point of number. All number has its origin in 1, the 1. This is the whole Neoplatonic, Platonic refrain, the Christian refrain. In Islam, it's known as Tawhid. There is one God. True. So the Prisca Theologia, Ficino is onto this stuff. So he's the physician, the astrologer, alchemist, magus, physician of the Medici Ficino. And look, heaven, what is that? Have we talked about that? We've talked about word, okay. Word, language, intelligibility. You're getting nous. You're getting nous, mind, born through word. So as the word is born, that resonates through the cosmic structure. Because it's an incarnation of the Logos, heaven and earth. Did we get to what heaven is? Well, there's loads of ways that are really quite straightforward of thinking about heaven. Platonism comes up here. Forms, okay? The truth. You can deny it exists. You can be skeptical about it. You can be cynical about it. People have. Postmodernism is all about that. You cannot deny it. It is an a priori condition of word language. To speak a language is to participate in a well-ordered structure of intelligibility and logic. I say, like, were you in or out last night? You can only be two of those things. That's binary logic. That's deductive logic. If you say, I was out last night, then by logical inference, you were not in last night. Because that's what do they call it? A disjunct, I think, where it's an either or. Logical scenario, you're either in or out. I was out, so therefore you're not in. And this is deductive logic. You have inductive forms of inference. The sun has risen every day of my life. I think it will tomorrow. By God. But like, no, like that's deduction, inductive inference. These are two forms of logic. Logic is ratio, that's a portion of the mind. This is what a lot of people associate with mind as such, purely deductive powers and inductive powers. These are cool, like these are important, and these are built on Aristotelian premises. So you say the law of identity, A must be A equals A, and upon these Aristotelian axioms, you build a system of formal logic, and you can get then into analytical philosophy, analytic philosophy as it's known, building out of Frege, the German I think it was German mathematician and logician. You have Husserl, who has also studied logic, but then pivoting into phenomenology and into attention to our experience, which is a whole other thing. Heaven, I'm trying to keep this theme. Heaven, mind, just think heaven, mind, spirit, okay? It's more rarefied, is another way of putting it. Body, how heavy is your body? It's literally like your definition of heaviness is your body and your feelings in your body. And gravity weighing into earth. Heaven, earth, think weighing into, think falling, gravity, falling towards the center. And then heaven, up, spiritually lifting, spiritually ascending to heaven like birds do. Birds fly to heaven. We're talking about the aerial and the spheres of ignis and air, fire and air here. These are the classical elements which lead to higher orders on an astrological scheme. We then say with the sublunary elemental sphere, so we have earth, water, air, fire, and then we go to the moon, Venus, the moon, Mercury, Venus, the sun, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. The 7 classical spheres are higher than our elemental world, that's the celestial world. Higher than are the Dionysian angelic orders, the 9, which I won't list here because I don't think I can. Anyway, this is a very detouring video. I really realise that. I hope it's valuable. Origen, great theologian, great Christian theologian. The general idea of the pristine theology, that wherever you are in that space-time matrix I was talking about, wherever, whenever, you can access this way. This is the eternal way. This is the way that is transcendent of time. That's what truth knows. So truth, we're talking about heaven. The heavenly aspect of you as a microcosm is your mind. No one can weigh your mind. Your mind is incorporeal in the scholastic terms. It's incorporeal, it's not bodied. No. You have those in the philosophy of mind that argue that mind equals brain. That whatever your mind is, my friend, it is this portion of your was it neocortex or prefrontal lobe or amygdala or different regions, cerebellum, or I don't know what the different ones. That is where mind is. That is what mind is, actually, is just the firing of neurons, electrical activity. Surely this is a cause of mind. Surely we see that these neural patterns are related to whatever we're calling mind. Does that warrant us saying that it's identical, though? It's qualitatively different. Electrical activity on a graph is qualitatively different from thought, from a scientific theory, from insight, from imagination, from feeling, from fear, from existential dread, from love, from loss, from the whole range of human experience. That's mind. And some electrical activity in neural matter, living neural matter, is an interesting window, perhaps, on some elements of that mind, a way of shining light upon some areas of the mind, potentially within contexts. That could be interesting. But to identify that with mind, we say, no, mind is unextended. What you have in that graph is neural matter. You don't have mind in that graph. Emphatically, the idealist is going to say this. They're going to say, look, mind, because on that graph is even in mind, of course. It's a phenomenon of mind. To see those patterns, to see those measurements, and then to interpret them, of course. That's all more mind. And of course, the quantum theorists have put the observer into the fundamental structure of matter, if I could put it that way. The observer's there. Mind is there. Mind is present there. Anyway, heaven, mind. Let's think heaven, mind, nous. Heaven, mind, nous, or logos, or word, or intelligence is another way of saying it. All human beings are possessed of it. All human beings have a genius. All human beings have an inner spiritual it's not archangel, it's guardian angel. Oh yeah, because this gets into the 9 orders of the Dionysian hierarchy. So you had the elemental world, you had the celestial world, then you have the angelic world, which is basically where you get into the guardian angels at the lowest, which are basically, what do they say, like tutelary spirits, I think would be the word, or like personal daemons. The Greeks also believed in this. You have E.R. Dodds, the classics scholar who looked at his book was called The Greeks and the Irrational. So these founders of reason, Plato and Aristotle, which gets really quite logical in the way of analytic philosophy and formal logic. These same rationalists who give us rationalism and logic are basically very, very, well, I would say they were the Prisca Theologia, or these ancient masters. Parmenides surely was an ancient master, Empedocles, Pythagoras, Orpheus, these old Greek masters who knew. And yeah, like logic is derived from Parmenidean ontology. And that was given to Parmenides in a vision, an ecstatic vision, where he was ministered unto by the daughters of the sun and taken by chariots to meet with the goddess. Was she the goddess who was at the heart of the Eleusinian mysteries of ancient Greece? We won't know historically, but we might be able to imagine and consider these things. One such goddess is, of course, Persephone, who is snatched by Hades and taken on a katabasis, a journey into the underworld, and she becomes the consort of Hades. Persephone and Hades, these underworld, this hierogamy underworld, this marriage of gods in the underworld, which is autumn and winter. And then Persephone is granted return to her mother Demeter by Hades every 6 months. This happens, the anabasis, do we say, or the standing up of Persephone, and Demeter is in joy and the earth is in joy, and this is spring and summer. Empedocles gives us that doctrine of the four elements. Heaven, earth. I've given something on earth, body, corporeality. Weight is a good way of thinking about earth. Weight, heaviness, denseness. Heaven, mind, word, intelligibility, logos. Okay, look, another way of saying it is truth. I went on the truth thing. I think truth's a really good one. Is truth a body? If you say no to that, then truth is not earth. Okay, it's not. It's heaven. Truth is in heaven because to say something is true is to say it's universally true. To say that any point in time you go back, whether you go back 14 billion years, if the universe had previous incarnations, you could go back cycling into those, because Roger Penrose thinks about that, like basically cyclical time. He thinks like the Big Bang is the end of an old aeon. It's mad. Anyway, you could entertain that thought of like kind of an infinity cycle of time universe orders. You could, doesn't matter, because that's all like time and space, even if it's like infinitely big, doesn't matter. Truth is true through all of that, if it's true. Okay, if it's not, it might not be. But a truth, what we mean when we're saying it is like a word that is in accord with reality. And often, like to speak about truths is speak about enduring features of reality, patterns or ideas. Okay, let's take ideas or patterns. You can understand intellectually and intuitively patterns as a human being. This is heaven. This is the nature of mind. The nature of nous is patterning. And you give a word to something and you pattern it. And by words, dogs are called through words. Words are then used to bring dominion over the wolf. Dominion over the wolf is gained by the word. Bonds of tribal fealty are guaranteed by the word. An oath of fealty, of faith, of trust is based on I give you my word. My word is I give you my word. My word is patterned breath, remember? Patterned spirit. I give you my patterned spirit. And it's good. And that's the basis of really old tribal bonds, the oath and the value of a word, of a true word, that is. So truth is a really, really good one. Now, truth, and the point about it is it's a transcendental argument. You can't disagree with, like, the possibility of some words being more true than others is, like, let's say the words are like a horizontal level, it's like a vertical level, because you're bringing evaluation into language. Why should we do that? Because if it's breath, because it depends on your level of analysis, right? Because if it's breath, if it's wind, if it's spirit, that's what it is. Why do the patterns matter at all? But they do matter, right? Like, you understand what's being said, and then that mattering of patterns is intelligibility, it's words. And they're enduring too. So names are quite interesting with that, because names are basically logos, words. They're patterned spirit. Again, I give you patterned spirit. I give you a name, patterned spirit. That means that through time, you are given a unity or social identity, the seed of social identity, through pattern spirit and through heaven, through heavenly influence. You're sustained by naming, for example. Look, any education, any expansion of your mind, any learning about history, science, natural sciences, physics, chemistry, biology, music, drama, English, literature, or history, or I've said history, but whatever you want to learn about, right, it has truth as a pursuit, as an ideal. Now, can we ever get to the truth? Yeah, classic question. You could say we could never get to the truth as human beings. I'd be happy to say that. But it's like I'm going to forget the name now. Asymptome, I think it is, in mathematics, where a line approaches a stable line at an infinity. So it's like it's approaching ever closer to the shape of that line, but to infinity, which I really, really like that image. I think I got that from Alfred North Whitehead, and it's like this thing of, okay, so you could think about this as there's a level of reality that is reality getting ever closer, and there's a level of the ideal. And the ideal is calling reality. And the call of the ideal into reality is a guardian angel. The guardian angel has your name in the heavens and is accounting for you in the heavens and is basically issuing forth logoi, words, calls from the heavens, from the heavenly vault. And what I mean by the heavenly vault are higher intelligences. Because remember, the guardian angel is a higher intelligence. And by guardian angel, I mean the imago Dei within you, the pouring in of inspiration into you. Because you know what inspiration means, yeah? It's like a real feature of human life. It's etymologically inspiring, breathing in. I'm breathing in at a certain level, right? But I'm also breathing in at a cultural level. And the the inspiration of ancestors is not to be like it's huge. Parents, fathers, mothers, grandfathers, grandmothers, aunties, uncles, cousins, brothers, friends. So so much inspiration, isn't there? Like really, of how to live in truth, how to live in goodness, how to live in beauty. These are the three Platonic transcendalia: beauty, truth, goodness. Are any of these on earth? Now you can say, yeah, they are, of course, on earth. Yeah. In a sense, but like they're also not, right? So again, earth is like this horizontal plane and heaven's like this vertical plane, because it's like, yeah, there's some places on earth where there is truth, really. And like academe, is it like academe in the Greek is the groves of academe is a sacred grove. Learning happens in a sacred grove, in a relaxed, leisurely grove. That's where learning happens. That's where the garden is. The garden of truth is, many have accessed it. Not all do. Everyone can. This is the Prisca Theologia doctrine. Doesn't matter what religion, what ethnicity, where you come from, what your age is, what generation you're from, what place you're from, any of these. Because there is one truth a unified truth and one mind, and one life. And the fragmentation, the multiplicity of society, which is another image of Earth, quantity. Because a high quantity is also a high density, a high heaviness. But got me a bit distracted there. Heaven, earth, origin. Heaven, earth, origin, mind. So just like, you take your philosophical position on that, but like, is mind brain? Materialist is going to say yes. I really don't think so. And I think there are some very strong arguments in the philosophy of mind that mind is a phenomenon of its own. And this is the whole point of the phenomenological tradition. Brentano is huge. Brentano says intentionality, the aboutness of how my mind stretches out in tension like a tent. My mind is intent. All mind is intent. On what, you ask? On something it can partially grasp, but not completely, but yet sees the ideals in it. You see what I mean? Like, so truth is an ideal, which may never be realized in an asymptotic way. But you might get people, holy ones, saints, wise ones, who have maybe hit into that infinity. Maybe. And that's again the idea of the Prisca Theologia. These are the golden ones, the ones who have entered heaven fully. And, Origin teaches us that this is the sane way to, I don't know if you would say sane, but this is the healthy, normal way to read scripture, is as a spiritual document. It's talking about heaven and earth, and God created them both. And there was a fall, and the angels, who I mentioned earlier, fell the least. The humans fell to earth with all that elemental structure, celestial, angelic. That's where humans are. And then beneath the earth, in the underworld of Hades, there you have the devils, the demons, the daimones, who have wills that have fallen, and they don't seek the return to the one, to the grace, to the love of the one. They seek to establish pride, establish a kingdom of separation. This is, Satan is undermining the good. Let's say it that way. I don't know how long I've really been going with this. I've just been thinking about theology and wanted to share some of this heaven and earth. So hopefully Genesis 1:1 is clearer to you at some level as a description of the reality of the human being, firstly, as microcosm. You are a mental and a bodily being, and your mental aspect is higher than your bodily, because it imposes order, because it imposes rationality, because it is the word, it is the mind, which can train a body into Arnold Schwarzenegger or like whatever, aesthetic thing. Like, the body can be transformed by the mind. And you say, can the mind be transformed by the body? It's like, if I'm sleepy, I might get angry, or I'm in different states of mind, like drugs and different things like this. I suppose the mind can be affected by the body in that way. But no, I don't think like the will really can. And what's true, moreover, is not touched by any of that. I can be in this emotional state or that, or feel drowsy or hungry or whatever bodily aspect that can be happening, and there can still be what's true, and I can be committed to that. So that's an enduring, solid principle, an idea, an ideal. Truth is an ideal. Can anyone realize it perfectly? Maybe some small percentage can, maybe most can't, maybe most stumble imperfectly towards a perfect ideal. Mind sees these perfections: beauty, same, music, outstanding. What is that? What is music? What is beauty? What are the great vistas of this earth, the oceans, the mountains, the seas, the amazing creatures? There's so much that the eyes can see. What gifts they are. Heaven, so beauty, 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 that's not in the earth. It's a composition of the earth. It's the earth patterned. Again, it's the earth patterned by the Logos. The earth patterned by the Logos. And it cannot be, and it can be. And beauty, the earth patterned by the Logos. Truth, the mind patterned by the Logos. Or heaven patterned by the Logos. Goodness, yeah, that gets into ethics. That gets into what is good. G. Moore asked about this, and this comes down to value, and this gets us onto a different topic, but this is how the heart knows what is preferable. The heart knows this order of value I'm talking about. The heart knows that you feel it in your deep, that certain things are preferable to others. Starting in your body, starting in the immediate sensations of your body, then into the whole of your body, the strength, the vitality, the vigorousness, the health or disease of your body as a whole, but then also the parts, the taste, all the different senses, the parts of the body. Then above life, spirit. This is all the order of value ranks by Max Scheler. You have mind, you have spirit, you have noetic values coming in: truth, beauty, goodness, how to act, justice, how to be just, what is justice? Is justice real? Again, you can watch a lot of documentaries, you can learn a lot of stories, you can doubt whether justice is real, and you can doubt whether the truth is real. You really can. If your mind goes into an imperfect world and sees how imperfect it is, then yeah, you can think that. But then the perfect is only defined as imperfect. The imperfect is only defined as imperfect, contrasted to an ideal. This is the whole point about truth. It's a transcendental condition. It's an a priori necessity for any intelligibility. If I say there's no justice in the world, I'm saying I have an intuition of what justice is. If I say there's no truth in the world, it's saying I have an intuition of what truth is. And also, if I tell you there's no truth and I'm right, then that's true. So there is truth. So that's contradictory. Like that's straight up contradictory. If I'm saying to you that my position is that there's no truth, why should you believe me at all? Because we're having an intellectual discussion. This is an intellectual question about what's true. And my philosophical outlook being true is implied if I say that there is no truth. It's like the light that shines in the mind. This is Plato, classic. Truth is the light of the mind. Like beauty is the light of the eye, you could say. goodness, the light of the heart. There you go, something like that. But goodness, the light of the heart. Truth, the light of the mind. And beauty, the light of the eye. Yeah, that's cool. Anyway, yeah, maybe that's a natural place to finish it. Very platonic place to finish it. Thank you for listening. We'd love to hear what you think about all of that.